Hello traders, welcome back. Market Analytics, Wednesday morning. We got the S&P 500. You remember we have a bullish position in place, and we wanted to touch base on just what happened here over the last few days. We think there were some really interesting developments. First, let me just remind you, when we were here last time, it was 6 days ago, price was just coming off hitting our first target, 30.14, right? And I was here telling you about the fact that we just closed out 50% of our position due to price hitting our target here. And we also noticed that really nice reaction price had on that key level resistance. We saw the first attempt to break through, ended up with a bit of a spike there, in the following day again trying to push forward, but then completely failing and starting to really turning around. Now at that point we felt that there's probably there's going to be a technical downside correction. It's probably going to be local, but I have to admit it stretched out a little bit further than what we expected. In fact, it reached pretty close to take our stop loss level, right? Stop loss level was at 29.55 and price reached at its lowest low the level of 29.66, so it was just 11 points from our stop loss level. Plus, there was also this head and shoulders pattern. Now, guys, you remember how I always talk about head and shoulders patterns, right? I always talk about finding a genuine, real head and shoulders pattern has to be involved with analyzing the head in comparison to the shoulders. Right? I always tell you, where the head is not overly, higher than the relevant shoulders, then it's probably a fake head and shoulders pattern. So, a few traders and a few analysts pointed out the fact that the head and shoulder, that the S&P 500 was building up a head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour chart. We quickly moved in to measure the shoulders, right, in comparison to the head, and we found out that this is far from being a genuine head and shoulders pattern, guys, which means it's a fake one. And what it's gonna do, it's a mere deception. That's what it's gonna be. So we completely ignored that reversal pattern, guys. And I think we made the right decision, right? Because right now we can see what happens. This head and shoulders was not about to break. In fact, it is a trading range. That's what it is. So the reason I always talk about the head in comparison to the shoulders, guys, is if the head is not, massively higher than the shoulders, then what you're looking at is basically just a trading range that's visibly look like a head and shoulders pattern, but in fact it's just a trading range. And that's pretty much what I think is going down right here, right now, right? So we're probably going back again to that 30.14. We're probably going to have a second attempt on breaking through. Price may actually fail and have another downside leg as part of this trading range, as I've mentioned before. But I think that at some point it will come back up and it will be successful breaking through that resistance at 30.14 and head straight to the next level, the next resistance level, which is our final destination at 3100, right? So we're still carrying on with this position, guys. 50% of our initial our initial position right now. But if we're gonna cross beyond 30.14, closing at least a daily close beyond 30.14 here, we might actually consider, rebuilding our position again, taking it back to 100%, right? That's pretty much the game plan. So we want to make sure that price can, overcome that obstacle before we are going to re-engage with the S&P 500. For now, we still have our 50% in place, and the stop loss level is still at 29.55 as we're about to approach the first target we had at 30.14 again. All right, guys, that's pretty much about that. S&P 500 looking very interesting. We'll have to come back and follow up. See you in the next video.